It has only been, I think, the second Tatuaje cigar that we have reviewed on the show. I don't know why. I don't have a reason. It's not anger. It's not hate. Pete Johnson, we love you. All right, we've never met you, but we would shake your hand, say hello, and say, can we talk for a few minutes? It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. And this from Tatuaje, that is Pete Johnson. This is the Black Series, the Petite Lancero. This is a 6 by 38 cigar, meaning it is 6 inches long. Tee. Fingers Malloy. It always makes him laugh. And the ring gauge is a 38, the diameter of the cigar, or how thick it is around. Again, with the laughter. A Lancero is normally a longer cigar in that 7-inch range. That's why they refer to it as the Petite Lancero. Now, there's a bunch of different vitolas when it comes to the Tatuaje in the black label. Tatuaje is how it's pronounced. Went with the Lancero because with the Lancero, you're getting a better ratio of wrapper to binder and filler, right? Binder and filler, what's inside the cigar. Don't get me wrong, all works together to make a great smoke, but flavor comes from the wrapper. And this, you've got this sun-grown Criollo out of Esteli. So you have these earthy and woody flavors, except everybody who talks about the cigar talks about the pepper punch on the face from the word go. But you've got this Criollo, that's the seed that comes from Cuba. That's how it gets, that's like the original seed. So you've got this with a Nicaraguan binder and filler in this profile, in this vitola, the shape that is going to allow you more wrapper to be a part of the experience. And Fingers and I, suckers for a Lancero. A lot of people are afraid of this. They think it's too dainty in the hand, because a 38 ring gauge, right? A 64 ring gauge is a full 1 inch around. So a lot of people, Fingers, they look at these and are like, nope, that's not a man's cigar. I need something that's just a giant. I can barely get into my mouth. I need something huge right there. It's not necessary for flavor.
And all those people are wrong, Tony.
I don't know if they're
wrong, Tony.
I don't know if I would call them, wow, wrong. I love that you're pulling a me. I love that you just did an impression of me right there.
I mean, let's face it. When you have a Lancero, I believe, did we coin the term Flavor Town?
No, I believe that's taken.
Oh.
Sorry, Food Network. Sorry, Guy Fieri.
Flavor Country, I thought, is what he used.
Flavorville? Right?
Listen.
Or Flavorsburg. We can do one or the other. You choose.
That's better than Flavor Township, Flavorsburg. But listen, it packs a lot of flavor. I mean, we talk about it all the time that Aladino Cameroon Lancero is just a fantastic smoke.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Very different than this.
Yes. Right away, for me, there's that a little bit of spice, some wood, and maybe this may sound crazy, and you're going to think I'm totally off probably, but I'm getting a little bit of hay.
That's interesting, because that's not what I would expect. That's not a flavor I would expect to the first. I will admit, at the light, we've just lit this up. It had a sweetness. It had a beautiful, almost like cinnamon cream sweetness at the first. And now, having taken 2 puffs on this, I'm already with a little bit of spice. You want to go slow on this, you can smoke this super, super fast. I'm looking right at Fingers Malloy when I say that.
As I put the cigar down.
Super, super fast. And also get out your notebooks. What did you eat today? What did you drink today? The humidity, what is the weather? The humidity here is finally broken in Indianapolis, Indiana, but we've had some rain throughout the week that all affects your palate. And then take the cigar, break it up into thirds. First third, second third, final third. Do it in your head. What are you getting from the first third, the second third, the final third? Write that down in your notebook. When you try this cigar a month from now, 6 months from now, whatever it may be, you do it again. Compare your notes. That's your through line. You'll get an idea of where you really are with your cigar. It's a great way to learn about your palate and what moves you. Beautiful construction. It's a little more on the paler side of the brown, a basic brown. It's got some grit to it, which I love. A little bit of oil, a little bit of grit, but not any kind of shine to it. It looks almost dry when you're staring at the cigar and that basic brown, but it feels lovely. And for a Lancero, touch of weight. You don't feel like it's going to fly out of your hands.
No, I agree with you. There is a nice little bit of weight to it. It's gritty, much like those high-flying Detroit Lions, who are also gritty. Also, Tony, I have to say, for a cigar this size, there's a really impressive amount of smoke coming off of this.
And do you feel... So you said hay. I'm not with you. I'm there on wood. I'm not there on hay. I wonder if we have a different interpretation of that first light. But you can like feel the wood on the tongue, and you can feel that there is a bit of spice I'm going to say is a black pepper kind of existing throughout. I was expecting this to actually be stronger in the spice, and I am delighted that that's not where it's taking me.
Yeah, it's interesting for me that spice was there right away, and now it's already starting to subside a little bit, where you said you didn't get it, correct me if I'm wrong, you didn't get it right away. It started to build after about 3 or 4 draws.
Yeah, it did. There is a wood here. I wouldn't say, except for that initial hit, I wouldn't say that there's a sweetness going on. Maybe the wood itself is a bit slightly sweet. There's an earthiness, a fullness, I'm going to say a chunkiness, a chewiness going on, but I don't know if I necessarily consider that a flavor. That's more of a texture that's happening.
Have you gotten a hint of a floral note?
No.
Not at all.
Have you been drinking?
Not yet, but I sure am looking forward to it.
No, I have not gotten a floral note in the slightest. Just like a generalized bouquet or lilac?
Petunia, Tony. I don't know. Flowers, Tony. I don't know. I'm just a blue-collar Joe.
No, I do not get a floral out of this.
Gosh, but I'm so in danger of smoking this way too fast.
Right? Oh, you absolutely can.
I'm already in the final third.
No, that's not. It's from Tatuaje, the black label Petite Lancero, 6x38. Is it in your humidor? That's, of course, a question that we ask all the time. And is it in your humidor for $8.50 a stick?
I mean, look, we just lit this.
Right.
But if it continues to perform like it is right now, then I would say yes.
If there is an actual blend of spice to wood with a little bit of that chewiness that I'm referring to, absolutely. This would be a part of a regular rotation in there, no problem whatsoever. If anything, Tatuaje has proved that they make something that works, that sticks. This is actually produced in Nicaragua by My Father Cigars, and they do excellent work, and they've been doing excellent work for years. So I would trust anything that Pete Johnson put out. I would absolutely give it a go. Just a fan of the Lancero. Now, am I a fan of the Petite, only being 6 inches long? Would I like it a little more size to it? Well, we're going to find out. But try new things. That's the key. Find everything at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. We got a lot more to get to. So as we all know, it is pumpkin spice season. It goes winter, spring, summer, pumpkin spice. And Fingers Malloy loves all things pumpkin spice.
Oh, just can't get enough, Tony.
So much adoring of the pumpkin spice. You got the pumpkin spice latte.
Yes.
You got the pumpkin spice bourbon.
4.
You got the pumpkin spice bread.
A baker's dozen.
And then, of course, you have the pumpkin spice oil change.
I don't actually have that.
It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. He came across a list that he said, Tony, I must share with you. This is the 26 best pumpkin spice grocery products of 2024. Fingers Malloy from the people at Eat This Not That, eatthis.com. You read this list, and as an aficionado of all things pumpkin spice, and to be clear, he can't stand pumpkin spice. He's sick and tired of the people who live and die by it, who have turned into their religion, and he is seriously considering corporal punishment for all those people.
That is correct. As I've said on several occasions, I say two things.
Two things.
Friends don't let friends pumpkin spice.
Ooh.
And pumpkin spice is not a lifestyle.
Well, you are clearly never getting invited to the book club. But there's a list of the top 10 pumpkin spice foods. Actually, it's a bigger list than that. This is the top 26. All the way at the bottom. All the way at the bottom, we got to McCormick pumpkin pie spice, which is pumpkin pie spice. It's not something you're just going to eat right out of the container.
Well, speak for yourself.
Yeah, it's gross. You're not going to eat it. I'm just going to go right to the top 10 because
right.
I don't have time for your madness here. Number 10 is the Torani pumpkin spice syrup. You add that to your coffee. We actually use those. We have the sugar-free vanilla.
Okay.
And my wife does that. The kids do that. I don't. I don't have any interest in that, but they love it.
Here's what's strange to me. I enjoy pumpkin. I like pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie and coffee? That's wonderful.
I'd do that right now.
Yes. Pumpkin in coffee disgusts me. Yeah. Disgusts me.
Nice that you drew the line. Right there. Number 9 is the Swiss Miss pumpkin spice hot chocolate. Again, don't think I want hot chocolate, and I want it to be left alone. The Twinings pumpkin spice chai. Do you like the chai tea?
If you said to me right now, have you describe to me the flavor of chai, I would say space age polymers. I have no idea what it tastes like.
The Starbucks pumpkin spice K-Cups are number 7. The Starbucks pumpkin spice cold brew coffee concentrate is number 6.
Sounds like this list was sponsored by Starbucks.
Tate's. Have you ever had a Tate's cookie? You ever had the Tate's cookies out of Southampton, New York?
No.
Tate's Bake Shop. Their pumpkin spice cookies are number 5. Then you get to the Fancy Pants pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. Do you want pumpkin and chocolate chip together?
I could handle that.
Only if it's bread.
Yes.
Pumpkin chocolate chip bread sounds glorious.
Do you feel like these cookie companies, these bakeries, are going to be absolutely insulted by what's number 1 on the list?
Yes. Yes, they worked hard. They've been crafting recipes that came from Meemaw 142 years ago on the Mayflower, which is more than 142 years ago. And then when they see number 1, they're going to be like, oh, come on. Number 3 on the list is pumpkin spice Cheerios. Don't mess with Honey Nut. Honey Nut is perfect. Leave well enough alone.
Cheerios are terrible unless you're 2. And you have them in a little sandwich
bag.
Have
you had a Honey Nut Cheerio recently?
No, I have not, because I'm a grown-ass man.
Honey Nut Cheerios are delicious. You just sound ridiculous. Number 2, pumpkin spice Milanos, Pepperidge Farm. I will try it, but I think it might be a sin. The Milano, the mint Milano, the dark chocolate Milano were good. Perfect coffee cookie, by the way.
I would buy that. And again, I think the Pepperidge Farm people are going to be very upset when they hear what's number 1 on the list.
Number 1 on the list, according to Eat This, Not That, of the best pumpkin spice grocery products of 2024, Pumpkin Spice Oreos. And it's pumpkin spice flavor cream, which is exactly, that's how you know it's healthy.
Right?
Are you going to open these? What are we doing here?
I mean, no, I just wanted to get this as a prop, and then we're going to put it down, and I'm going to return it because it was $7 for a pack of Oreos.
Good Lord. They saw you coming.
Right? Okay.
What is the calorie count?
Do you really?
Well, of course I want to know.
Oh, good Lord.
What?
Are you ready for this?
Were you reading the ingredients?
It's like only 150 calories for 2 cookies. 2 cookies.
Sounds about right.
150 calories. Total carbohydrates, 20 grams. That's 7% of your daily allowance of carbohydrates. 2 cookies.
Bring it on.
All right, here we go.
Bring it on. Now, it's funny. You paid $7. At Amazon, they're only $5.29.
Oh.
$5 you got taken.
Well, these were very hard to find. I tried to find them last week. None of the stores had them.
Can I check the nose on these?
Yeah, sure. What do you got?
Oh, that smells like diabetes. I went full Wilford Brimley on the diabetes.
Let me see here.
Right there.
Look you know what I'm getting on the nose? Nabisco.
Is that who makes those?
Yes.
The cream is orange, and the cookie is like a blonde, right? So,
yeah.
Like if you got a blonde Oreo, there it is, right there. Are you doing this first? Am I doing this first?
You know what? I always go first. You go first this time.
All right, I'm going in. This is the pumpkin spice flavor cream Oreo from Nabisco, limited edition.
Oh boy,
Do I do the whole thing at once or do I take a bite?
Shove the whole cookie in your mouth, Tony.
I'm not doing that. I'm not an animal. Not an animal. No matter what they say.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing what we call the Chattanooga Chomp. And I can tell he's enjoying himself. Tell me, Tony.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not. I don't know. It's kind of like just there.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I took a bunch of these and again with vanilla ice cream and made a milkshake. Good, but yeah, it's just there. It's all right.
Okay, so I don't mean to want to turn this into Eat, Drink, Smoke Oreos.
Right.
But apparently now there's a Coca-Cola Oreo, too, that maybe we'll need to try down the road. I don't know if it's a limited edition or if it's something that's going to be around forever.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on that.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I'd rather have the pumpkin spice. You go in. Go in.
Mine was cracked. So I hope that doesn't have an impact on the flavor.
I don't believe it will. Oh, he did the whole thing. He did the whole thing. Look at him right there. That's a man, ladies and gentlemen. And where are you? Fingers Malloy on the pumpkin spice.
This is gonna go straight to my thighs.
Well, I should hope, because that's where it's needed most. Right? It's right.
Yeah, but here's the thing with this. Hey, listen, we're shooting video for this, so you're going to see I'm not starving to death. 150
You look
calories.
great.
Normally, I don't worry about 150 calories, but I don't know if 2 cookies, 150 calories, if that's something that I want to. If I'm trying to limit my calories a little bit, this isn't worth it.
You eat the second one. No. No, I don't know if I would throw away 150 calories on this. We're going to have to try the rest of the list. Yeah, you can find it, by the way, at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Eat, Drink, Smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. Find it all at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Smoking from Tatuaje. The Tatuaje Black Label Petite Lancero. 6x38, 38 being the ring gauge, 64 ring gauge would be a full inch around. This is a very slender cigar, a lot more wrapper to binder filler ratio, a lot of flavor. And I will tell you, maybe it is the pumpkin spice Oreo that has done me wrong. The spice on this has come down a bit.
Yeah, I can see that. For me, that wood has picked up. That spice has kind of subsided. And okay, this is going to sound silly.
Good Lord. What a wind up. What a wind up.
Nutmeg?
Nutmeg. Well, I did get like a cinnamon cream thing right off the hit, right? That was that sweetness.
Yeah.
So you're saying you're getting a sweetness and you don't know what it is?
I'm leaning towards nutmeg. Keep in mind, I have shoved 5 pumpkin spice Oreos into my mouth. So maybe that has something to do with how it's completely screwing my palate up.
Did you have 5? I walked out of the studio for a second.
Yeah, I had 3 more while you were gone.
Good. You should see a doctor.
If I keep eating these, I'm going to need one.
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why you would get nutmeg. I have not gotten anything like that. I will tell you.
You said cinnamon cream.
But
so
that was like that.
Something.
That first draw had real sweetness, like a real candy sweetness. A chocolate kind of candy sweetness. So I said cinnamon cream in that vein, as opposed to like a hard candy or anything like that. Then definitely a little bit of earthy. Definitely settled in with that wood, that cedar, and definitely some spice. I was expecting more overwhelming spice. I do not know about nutmeg. I am not so sure if I would be there, but I'm not going to tell you didn't taste what you tasted. I'm enjoying the cigar, but I'm way, way far away from knowing whether this is in my humidor. But at $8.50 a stick, I would lean towards it.
So what What is giving you pauses? Is the fact that it's a 6-inch versus a 7?
In terms of the size of the Lancero, certainly.
Is the flavor profile?
Again, there was another little hit of sweet. I just, first time I'm really working with the cigar, I want to smoke it through before I make a decision. That's all. I mean, $8.50. The answer is, I'll try anything for $8.50. I'll do that. I can get this or a pack of your ridiculous pumpkin spice Oreos. I'll take this all day long. I would take this over the Oreos.
For me, this will last longer than the Oreos.
True. Did you put them away?
Yes, I had to because it was starting to get ridiculous.
Just remember, you have to bring some home to the family.
Yeah, I know that. That's why I put them away. But I could feel a blood sugar spike. It's happening.
Do you need to lay down?
I'm seeing 3 of you right now.
We'll let you know about the Tatuaje Black Petite Lancero. We have a fantastic bourbon to pair this with. But it's time, Fingers Malloy, for News of the Week.
So the U.S. Capitol was hit by a massive dark web cyber attack, Tony.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I said Tony.
Right.
Tony. Personal information of more than 3,000 congressional staffers has been leaked across the dark web in a wide-ranging cyber attack on the Capitol, according to Newsweek. So there's a internet security firm, Proton, found over 1,800 passwords used by staffers in Congress available on the dark web. Through an investigation of exposed accounts among U.S. political staffers, apparently they were using their official email in places maybe they shouldn't be using their official email address for such things as social media.
Who got fired?
Oh, come on.
Who got fired?
Who are we talking about here?
Then I don't want to hear the rest. I don't want to hear anything. All I know is if I'm inconvenienced for just a moment, all of those staffers, 50 years in jail.
50 years in jail.
50 years in jail. And I'm not talking about the good jail.
Well, so what jail are you referring to then?
I'm talking about bad jail. 50 years in bad
I
jail.
want to know what the good jail is.
Oh, you know what the good jail is.
They have Oreos?
Oreos, visits.
What kind of visits, Tony?
Tommy cuts the garlic really thin so it liquefies in the pan. You know, good jail. No, not for them. Bad jail.
Well, they said the leaks came from several sources, including social media, dating apps, and adult websites.
50 years in jail. Because when you work for the government, you work for me, Fingers Malloy.
Okay.
That's how this works. And you don't get to look at porn while you're working for me. On your own time, you can look at anything you want except children, and I'm fine with it. You can do what you do. Consenting adults doing consenting adult things, I'm not getting in the way. While you're doing the job, 50 years, bad jail.
May I, for a second, Tony, play devil's advocate? I, for one, am shocked that you would accuse congressional staffers of being on porn sites.
Isn't that what you just reported?
Outraged.
Isn't that what you just reported?
I'm outraged, Tony.
You literally just said those words.
It just says adult websites. You made the leap to porn.
Tell me what an adult website. They were on the AARP site?
Yes.
Is that where they were?
Absolutely.
50 years of bad jail. By the way, if they were on AARP instead of an adult website as I'm describing it, 55 years in bad jail. If you were checking your bank account, 50 years in bad jail. I don't want to hear it. You do your things on your time. When you work for the government, you're on my time. And when you're on my time, you will work, bring your lunch with you, eat at your desk.
Wow.
By the way, we're hiring.
Captain No Fun over there.
I'm not interested in their fun. I'm interested in my government working properly and being streamlined. If they have time to look at porn sites, we don't need them. Let's save some money. Now you say to me, Tony, we're not going to save money if they spend 50 years in bad jail. And I say to you, but they need it to learn. So send them anyway. Thank you. I'm going to be an excellent dictator.
I wonder if there are any bad jail porn sites.
Oh, there's definitely bad jail porn sites. I haven't looked.
Well, to access a bad jail porn site on your phone, you may need an Apple A16 chip, Tony. And Apple A16 chips are now being manufactured in Arizona.
Good.
At a TSMC plant. The A16 chip, which debuted in the iPhone 14 Pro 2 years ago, is reportedly being produced in small but meaningful quantities in Arizona.
Yeah, so that's Taiwan Semiconductor, and it was their first real expansion outside of, I think, outside of the Pacific Rim. It's an important move. We need to be making more chips here, although I'm not necessarily a fan of the CHIPS Act. I can go multiple ways on this. You pass a piece of legislation, you're going to offer all these credits for creating semiconductors, and then Intel starts laying people off because they're getting the money anyway. And you're like, well, that's not the purpose of the dang legislation. What are we doing here? But Taiwan knows, and certainly the semiconductor industry knows, that they have to be able to produce outside of Taiwan because the threat of China every day. Can I tell you, regardless of where you are with your politics, I am stunned that China hasn't made their move on Taiwan yet. I know former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is all over this. We have to start recognizing Taiwan as its own country, etc. I am amazed with everything we've been through with President Biden that that China hasn't made a move.
Isn't it to the point where now you're starting to think they're never going to make a move if they don't make one right now?
No. They're going to be.
I hear you, but you're like, oh my goodness, the red carpet is practically rolled out.
One China is a real thing for Xi Jinping and the Politburo there. That's going to, I don't want it to happen, but it's going to. And so some of these expansion moves from Taiwan Semiconductors to be able to deal with that reality. If there is anything I love in this world, Fingers Malloy, what is it? What do I love more than anything?
The Detroit Lions.
That is not it. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is Fingers Malloy. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com and our books, Let's Go Bourbon, Let's Go Barbecue, Let's Go BBQ, available at amazon.com. The perfect Christmas gifts. Get them now before it's too late.
Can I have a second crack at that?
You sure?
What do you love more than anything else?
Fingers Malloy, what do I love more than anything in the world?
Social media outrage.
That's you.
Oh, that's me.
Both those things.
Oh,
were you.
I'm easily confused.
I love a good bridezilla story.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I love stories of weddings that go weird, of brides that are nutty, of families that I don't know why. It makes no sense. It's not like I get any personal gain from it except my own schadenfreude. I just adore every last bit of it. From the New York Post, here's the question. This was like last month. My mom was late to my wedding, so I walked down the aisle without her there. Am I in the wrong? This story is fantastic. It comes from Reddit. So this bride is like, everything started off fine. Everything started off good. I'm getting ready. I was ready almost by noon. My mom headed back to the hotel, which was 20 minutes away, change and come back with my grandmother and a family friend, right? Mm-hmm. That was the thing that was going on. Ceremony starts at 2:00. Mom was not there. So they wait. And she's like, we got to do this. So she walked herself down the aisle without her mother. And 45 minutes after the conclusion of the ceremony, Mom, Grandma, and this other person arrived, and the mother is hostile, and I had to do this, and this wasn't ready, and this other thing, and my shoes fell off. Whatever the case is. So the question before us is, if your mother goes back to get changed before the wedding, and she's not there for the wedding, don't you start calling like every second? Aren't you calling frantically? Aren't you calling the hotel and having people knock on doors? Aren't you calling the grandmother? Aren't you calling the friend? Isn't that what happens? Like, aren't you more concerned? Oh my gosh, what just happened to my mother?
No, because your mother's being selfish and making the wedding all about her instead of of the daughter. Yes, of course.
The story
you're
is
calling. You're calling.
The story is mom was not done getting ready and held everybody up. Mom says the daughter is in the wrong. She got the text, but she didn't send any text. She didn't tell anybody what's going on.
You know what the story reminds me of?
Pray tell.
And it's apples and oranges, but it's similar as far as someone who is being unrealistic about their expectations and also time management. We did a story about 6 months ago, if you remember.
Oh, I thought this was about to be a personal attack on me.
No, of course not. 6 months ago, I believe, we did a story about a couple that was getting ready to board a plane. And the wife or girlfriend, I can't remember, said, I need a coffee. And rather than getting a coffee right there at the coffee stand, she wanted a Starbucks, which was in another terminal. And she ran to the other terminal. In the meantime, the husband, boyfriend, whatever, was at the gate, and the gate attendant was tapping her watch, going, hey, the plane is leaving. Are you going to board or not? And he got on the plane and left the wife standing there with half-calf decaf with spritz of lemon. And that was a big thing where people were upset saying he shouldn't have left the wife, or other people were saying, of course he's going to leave the wife. How could you think you could go get a cup of coffee right as the plane is getting ready to take off?
So I don't recall the story, and I'm not sure what I said at the time.
You said you were absolutely, completely, almost in love with the husband for taking off and leaving his wife.
See, I thinking about it now, he should not have gotten on the plane. He should have called a divorce lawyer. That's not a woman you stay with. Bye.
No, but this
have to go now.
But this is what it reminds me of. If only the mother had some sort of idea what day and what time the wedding was going to start so she could properly manage her time to get ready for the wedding. No. Bye. Sorry you missed it. We have a videographer videotaping the whole thing so you can watch it later. Of course this woman did nothing wrong by walking down the aisle without her.
45 minutes after the conclusion of the ceremony. So let's say they started at 2:30, and let's say it was done by 3. So 3:45, you show up for a 2:00 wedding, and everybody was going to wait for you. Listen to me carefully, future brides. Your mom is wonderful. Your mom is not in charge. You are. You're in charge. Now, that it does not give you carte blanche to be an awful person, but it is a reminder of who's in charge on a wedding day. She's not in charge. You're in charge. You're in charge. Guys, you're in charge. Not your mother, not your mother-in-law, you. And if you can't handle it on the day of the wedding to establish the boundaries, it cannot be handled ever.
Doesn't it feel like this is someone who is trying to steal a little bit of the spotlight, a little bit of the shine? Because everyone sitting in that church or wherever this wedding was taking place is wondering, why? This was supposed to start at 2. What's going on here?
In your life, Fingers Malloy, did you ever have a moment, an experience anywhere, where you said, I'm so important, everybody will wait for me?
Right here on this show, every week. No, absolutely not.
Me either. Never once did I think that somehow every person is going to wait for me. Every guest is going to wait for me. And no. Never, ever, ever. Now, to the extent that this story is true, right? It is Reddit. It's possible that it's all just made up.
That's true. Can I share with you a story? May I share with you a story about what happened on my wedding day? Mother Malloy.
Oh my gosh, this is happening.
Mother Malloy, God rest her soul. We had the rehearsal dinner the night before.
Is that right?
Yes, at my dad's favorite watering hole. Instead of a fancy, I'm just a blue collar Joe, Tony. I don't need a fancy rehearsal dinner. And it was just pizza and wings and beer, and everybody had a great time, and everybody stayed a lot later than they should have. And old Mother Malloy, God love her, she got into the rum and Coke.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, Bacardi and Coke, and she was not much of a drinker. This was the night before the wedding. She told me later, the next day, she was laying in the bathtub. Trying to rally as best she could. And she thought to herself, there's no way that the mother of the groom cannot show up for the wedding because who's going to believe she's sick? Especially when everybody saw her the night before. So she rallied and she did attend, but she wasn't feeling all that well. But she muscled through because she didn't want to be the focus, the story of a good subplot to the wedding is the mother of the groom didn't show up for the wedding.
If let's say she hadn't shown up to the wedding, would you have gone on with the wedding?
Absolutely.
And what would you have told the crowd?
My mother hit the rum a little hard last night.
That's exactly what I would say.
It's better than saying, and that was the truth, better than saying, you know what? My mother didn't want to be a part of any of this.
My mother never loved me. Oh, that's a great story. Hung over Mother Malloy.
Yeah, I hope Mom doesn't mind that I shared that story. But
that's a good story. That's a good story. Mom had a good time. Mom let her hair down. You looked her in the eye and said, "Oh, you look great."
She did look great.
That is glorious. My parents were there on time.
At my wedding, I didn't see them.
They were in the back. They brought the nice gift. Michter's makes some fine juice. MICHTER''S. Whether it's the bourbons, it's the rye, it's the 10-year bourbon, the 20-year bourbon, they do some solid work, but you don't necessarily have to spend for something that's worthwhile. And lately, it has been harder and harder, as everybody knows, to find a bourbon, to find a rye that isn't breaking the bank. Maybe we've done it. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy, and this, the Michter Small Batch Bourbon, US1, ladies and gentlemen, coming in at 91.4 proof. No applause. Fingers Malloy does not applaud for anything under 100 proof. There is no age statement on the bourbon here. Again, you've seen it, and you've seen some rare stuff. This isn't the rare stuff. This is the stuff that hopefully you can find every day. When we said, you know what, this is what we're going for, actually went to the liquor store, found it in about 4 seconds.
Nice.
So it was an easy find. Got this poured into the Glencairn glass. We always start it neat. That's that glass with the foot, and then it bows out, and it comes back in. You can really kind of put your nose in it, concentrate it right there. The color of this is a little lighter than standard bourbon fare, right? It plays a little bit more into the honey than it does into the amber colors. And that nose, Fingers Malloy, where are you at?
There's a nice bit of vanilla and some oak. And I'll tell you, maybe just a hint of ethanol. A hint. But it's very sweet on the nose.
Yes, there is definitely some ethanol, that alcohol kind of smell. That is a little fruity. There's a little bit of like summertime fruit in that. I don't know. I don't know what that is. It's not cherry. It's not cherry. It's not cherry. It's whatever it is. There's a general sweetness. You know, you asked earlier about the cigar, the Tatuaje Black Petite Lancero. Am I getting anything floral? And I said, of course not. You're ridiculous. But that's close to floral. But I want to say it's more sugary fruit.
Okay,
that's what I'm getting on the nose there.
Yeah,
it's pleasant.
Oh, it's very pleasant, and that ethanol, that alcohol that we're getting on the nose, it's very. You have to get your nose in there pretty deep to be able to get it. You know, sometimes we'll pour.
Yeah, you do.
We'll get a pour, and you can smell everything from 3 feet away. You're not getting that. You have to really get your nose in there. And Yeah, I agree with you. Now you're talking me into some sort of fruit.
It's the power of suggestion.
Let me
try it again. Let me try the nose again. Give Tony $20. That's that. I'm getting a lot of give Tony $20 on the nose right there. I'm trying the power of suggestion.
It's weird. I just thought to myself, does Tony take Diners Club?
He does.
Oh, good.
He does. But enough with this nose stuff. Fingers Malloy, you ready for this?
Tony, I've been ready for this all day.
We start it neat, as we said. Fingers Malloy doing what's known as the Kentucky Chew, moving it around the palate, trying to get a feel for the bourbon. Sometimes it's 2 sips. The first one to really set the taste buds. The second sip to really get an idea of the flavors. Fingers Malloy, what say you?
There's a nice bit of spice. Leather, to me, it's not as sweet. There's vanilla there. Maybe a bit of oak. It's got a nice dry finish to it. It does not hit like something that's over 90 proof. There's barely any kind of warmth in the chest. Very little sting on the tongue.
I'm going in.
Let's see what you think, Tony.
I'm going in the Michter small batch US1 bourbon whiskey, 91.4 proof. Here I go.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing what we like to call the Saginaw Swish, the Memphis Munch, the Chattanooga Chomp.
You could have gone with the Michter's Munch.
Oh, yeah. It's a real dry finish.
Okay. What is that? Because it gave me a little bit of sting on the tongue, a touch of heat, center chest with a little bit of spread to that heat. That is sweet. That is sweeter than I thought it would be, and I don't think a cube is going to degrade it. I think a cube is actually going to help. I wish on the palate there was oak. I really, really do.
You're not getting any oak at all. I can't.
Maybe on the finish.
It's like a leathery. It's like I don't know. I can't tell if it's leather or oak. There's something there.
But when you say
it's not prominent.
When you say leather, are you referring to a flavor or are you referring to a feel?
Flavor.
Okay. Because sometimes I get those things and I'm actually discussing feel. Like there's a good feel to this bourbon. It feels thick. It feels rich in that regard, which is kind of fascinating. It's sweeter all around and it hits in a couple of points. You said vanilla. I'm with you on the vanilla. Or maybe you had it on the nose. I have that.
Yeah, I have
definitely on the palate. There's like that's like honey. That's like honey sweet on the palate. The finish has not been overwhelming. There is no real spice. There is no heat going on. Again, I'm going to say maybe a little bit of oak gets presented after a while now as I've been talking on the finish. That is easy. That is an easy, simple bourbon. I wish it had a bigger oak hit. So I wonder with no age statement how much time it's actually spent in the barrel.
Yeah.
But like that's a more classic, simple presentation.
Yeah.
From right there from Michter.
It is sweet. But to me, like I said, you get for me that vanilla, and if you want to say honey, I don't know if I'm getting that necessarily, but when you start talking into leather or oak or something like that, there's nothing that really hits you in the face.
Zero. It's not muted. It is just not overwhelming. It's just presenting itself, saying hi. It's like when your neighbor comes over and says, "Hey, this got dropped in our mailbox." Like that's it. Just there it is, and the letter wasn't too important. That's what I'm getting.
I think it could work for the entire table. I maybe too sweet for a real traditional bourbon person that just likes a little vanilla, maybe a little caramel. But I think if you brought that to an event and said, "I'm bringing some bourbon," that would make everybody happy.
Is it in your liquor cabinet, Fingers Malloy? The Michter's US1 small batch bourbon for $44.99.
Probably.
Yeah, I would argue that it could be. I don't know if it is. I definitely want to try it on a cube.
Yeah.
A couple ice chips. I want to know, because my bet is that the ice is going to help. It's going to magnify, and it's not going to degrade. The Michter's small batch US1 bourbon at 91.4 proof. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke. It is official. Science ruins everything.
It does?
It does.
It didn't ruin my pumpkin spice Oreos.
That's not science. That's love. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is Fingers Malloy. Find everything at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Beer glasses are too big, scientists say. Here's why they want to shrink down the traditional pint.
Oh, no.
Science ruins everything. With all of the problems, Fingers Malloy, all of the issues around the globe, in your local community, here in our beloved United States of America, where does the size of your beer glass fit into the problems?
Actually, number 3 or 4. They aren't big enough.
Right. That is the issue. Not that they're too big. This is crazy talk. A group of scientists in the UK, which we see the problem.
Clearly, communists.
They studied a dozen pubs, bars, and restaurants where pint glasses were swapped out for something slightly smaller. And what they decided, the publishing shows, is that offering 2/3 of a pint as the largest size might be a boon for public health.
Ugh.
During the trial, beer sales fell 9.7%. The move could lessen the extent of alcohol-related suffering and could also cost people who sell beer their livelihoods.
And cost many bar patrons a good time.
The answer to everything you don't like isn't find a way to get rid of it. I'm a cigar guy. I have never smoked a cigarette a day in my life. I don't advocate for cigarettes. I don't smoke cigarettes. Fingers, I know you were a bartender. It was an occupational hazard.
I'm just biting my lip. Keep talking.
Everybody always discusses that if we just charged greater taxes on a pack of cigarettes, we'd raise money for smoking cessation programs and less people would smoke because it's financial disincentive.
Well, let me say this, Tony. As someone who at one point smoked, I was shocked to learn that smoking is bad for you. If only we had a government program to let me know that smoking was bad for me.
All financial disincentive programs, all of this talk of, well, if you just tax it, people will do less of it. It is a tax on the poor. The rich person can afford it. The rich person will still do it. They can. You could tell them meat is bad and charge extra for meat because it's red meat and that's bad. Rich person still buys the steak, still buys the bourbon, still buys the tobacco product. It is a tax on the poor. Soda is a problem, so therefore we should have an extra tax on soda. Doesn't change how the rich fat kid pays for his big gulp. That's not how these things can work. It is abusive. We think you're drinking too much, so we're going to make your glass smaller. We're not going to change the price. You're going to get less for your money, and you'll be thankful. Well, why not just make us truly healthy? And every time we order a beer, a kale smoothie shows up. And we say, hey, where's my beer? And you say, this is what you want. And you do that whole thing. These are not the droids you're looking for. And the next thing you know, everybody's drinking kale smoothies.
And they have to increase capacity in public bathrooms tenfold.
Tenfold. So, okay, it's doing something for the economy. But every time they do one of these things, for your health, for your benefit, no, it's not. It's somebody else deciding that they know best. I order a pint of beer. I don't often finish the pint of beer because it's just not how I operate. And you've seen me do it, Fingers.
Yes.
Have you seen me leave repeatedly whole drinks basically semi-untouched?
Yes, and I'm horrified when it happens. But you know what? You have to be the best Tony you can be.
I was in Savannah, Georgia. Great restaurant. and I ordered. It was a flight that paired bourbon and bacon. That was the flight. So it's 3 different bourbons. I ate all the bacon. I don't tell my rabbi. I ate all of the bacon. I took a sip of each bourbon and I left it there. And some people at the table were like, Tony, you didn't finish your bourbon. I'm like, yeah, I wanted to try it. I wanted to experience what they were going for. It was very good. That one was interesting. And they said, yeah, but you didn't finish your bourbon. No, I didn't. I'm going to leave it there now. It's a look of horror mixed with intrigue, mixed with what do I not get? What am I not understanding here? So, and I don't know why people are weirded out by that. The point is the flight did not need to be smaller because somebody out there drank all 3. That's nutty.
Well, you have self-control. But my question is, and I'm dating myself a little bit by asking this question in this way.
Is it about B. Arthur?
Close.
Eddie Haskell?
Not so close.
Okay.
I can't remember the character's name on Caddyshack, but the kid, the rich, spoiled kid who during...
I want a hamburger?
Yes.
No cheeseburger.
Yes, you'll get nothing and like it. Well...
The Smells Kid.
Smells Kid, yeah. He is... there's an event during the evening at the...
He's drinking everybody's drink.
He's drinking everybody's drink. Did anybody, as you left the table, said, I can't let that bourbon go to waste and just do all 3 shots?
I left, so I don't know, but I won't be surprised. I would not be surprised if that happened. Because you would do that. If you saw me leaving it, you might say, Tony, I can't. We need 10 more minutes, Tony. I can't. We need 10 more minutes.
I would like to say right now on Eat, Drink, Smoke that I would not do that, but I would probably be lying.
And when you say probably,
I'd be lying.
That's right. That's absolutely right. I don't need government. I don't need them trying to save me. I don't need one more thing. Don't people get tired of nanny stating the rest of us?
Yes, and didn't we experience this? Gosh, refresh my memory, Tony. Didn't New York pass something where restaurants had to go out and buy a whole bunch of glasses and then they didn't end up using them and it had something to do with...
I don't recall that. It was New York where they wanted to get rid of, they want taxes on soda. They wanted to prevent bakeries from using lard. It's
I'm going to have to look that up.
It's constant.
But these poor restaurant and bar owners who struggled to get through COVID, now they have to worry about the prospect of scientists coming in and trying to get momentum behind the idea that they're going to have to make beer glasses smaller. So the bigger beer glasses, they're going to have to get rid of those and buy a whole bunch of smaller beer glasses. And it's just the cost, and then customers aren't going to be able to stand for the idea that they're going to pay the same price for a smaller quantity of beer.
So you're saying we should get into the glasses business?
Oh, get ahead of it.
We should get into glassware.
And then encourage more scientific study on smaller glasses.
Malloy and Katz, glassware for the everyday and not so everyday.
Oh, I like where this is headed.
I do too. We're going to find some people who make glass and learn how to sell glass. Spell it. Eat, Drink, Smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy smoking the Tatuaje, a black label, the Petite Lancero with that sun-grown Criollo wrapper, Nicaraguan in the binder and the filler. The spice has certainly built on this a little bit, but not as overwhelming. And really, into the middle of the second third is where I had to get to really feel that spice, Fingers, kind of build up.
Yeah, that spice is built up for me too, but I'm not getting much more than spice and a wood note. Other than that, I'm not getting much more than that. What about you?
Yeah, it's not monotone, right? I don't want to say that. But like, if I was expecting a little bit of coffee on the side of this, no, I'm not getting that. If I was expecting a little bit of cream on the side of this, no, not necessarily. I do like it. It smokes beautifully. The construction here from Tatuaje is wonderful, but it is hitting in these places of wood and hitting in this place of now spice, and even that earthiness that should accompany and maybe did at the first has really mellowed out. I'm kind of hoping it finds its way back. Since the spice is not overwhelming, it's a nice simple spice. I'm good. I'm down with this, right? I could do this a couple of times. So I would say at $8.50 a stick, and we're doing the Petite Lancero 6x38. It's in my humidor. I'd like to try it in a couple other Vitolas. I'd like to see if there's a different size maybe, because when it's Lancero, as we discussed, more wrapper to binder and filler, it's a better ratio, more flavor. Maybe there's some flavors I'd like to subdue and see if something else kind of presents itself. Mm-hmm. So I would like to check a couple other sizes, but at $8.50 a stick, a couple of these are in the humidor.
It's a value play, right? I mean, it's been a nice smoking experience. There's a lot of smoke coming off of the cigar. That spice, that wood, it's like you said, it's well constructed. Really haven't had, it's been a low maintenance stick at that price point. Yeah, there has to be a couple in the humidor, I think.
Yeah, and not a box. I'm not getting a box of these, just getting a few. And we're having with this, we are doing the Michters, the small batch US1 bourbon, 94.1 proof. Did I get that right? 94.1. Yeah, no, 91.4.
Okay,
91.4 proof right there. Really presented with a bit of a fruity nose, a touch of ethanol, and the flavor. It's not that it gave a heat, right? A touch of heat in the center chest, but again, I say to you, simple, right? A little bit of honey I got on there. Now, this is the moment where we add it to a big rock. Fingers adds a little bit of water. I go big rock. I happen to have some larger size ice chips. You added some water. What's going on?
So that ethanol really came down, and not that there was a lot there to begin with, but it's sweeter on the nose. There's much more vanilla on the nose than there was before, and that was it shouldn't be surprising to me, but it was that it because sometimes when you add water, sometimes it'll take some of that sweetness away.
Right.
And this actually brought more of it out on the nose.
So water is the only thing that can bring down proof, right? It's the only thing you can add to the barrel. Otherwise, it's no longer bourbon. And water can bring out some flavors, mute some other flavors. So you added a little bit of water to yours, and that's what you got from it.
Yes. And now Tony always likes to put his on the big rock. And so that's what he has done, as you can hear right there.
Getting every last drop out of it. All right, so give that a second. It's the sound of love.
Dolby Stereo. He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing the Kentucky Chew. He looks perplexed.
Well, maybe I was wrong. I really thought ice would kind of enhance some things. No, it's a little muted.
Really?
It's a little muted. Give me a second. Hold on.
Okay,
I'll have a few bars.
Old Man River.
Good Lord. Let me go back in.
Old Man River. So he's going back in, and he still doesn't look happy.
Nah, that's
not happy.
I liked it better neat.
Okay. Well,
I liked it better neat.
Let me try it with my cool water.
He's got the water in there. He's taking a sip. He kept in the Glencairn glass. I moved mine to the rocks glass right there. He liked the nose with the water, but he's now going in and getting an idea of palate.
It's weird. It brought out more of a sweetness on the nose. It brought out more of the spice on the palate. It's spicier than it was before.
Yeah, there is a little more heat.
Yeah,
that builds up.
It took a little bit of that vanilla away. I liked it better neat.
Yeah, I did too. I liked it better neat $44.99 a bottle. Fingers Malloy. No, I wouldn't move it to the cube. I'd keep it neat. It was a nice little drink neat. It is, and I could see people putting that in their liquor cabinet for sure. But it's time, Fingers Malloy, for News of the Week.
Tony, as you know, I'm a Detroit Lions fan, as many listeners of Eat, Drink, Smoke are as well. And some have called Lions coach Dan Campbell America's coach. That's what they've done, Tony. But apparently, and this is the dark side of sports, an ugly side. Apparently, Dan Campbell had to put his house on the market last week because somebody threw his home address out on the internet.
Who hasn't had their home address put out before?
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion. But because of security concerns, he has to move his whole family over football.
People showed up to his house?
Yeah, it started after the NFC Championship loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Someone posted Campbell's Michigan address on Snapchat and called the coach not so nice things. And people started showing up to his house. People were, going outside, yelling things at the home, actually scared one of his daughters who, shortly after the title game, had to leave the house for the night while Campbell was still in San Francisco. So
tell me about your high-flying Detroit Lion fans. Are they all scumbags?
This was an incident where apparently it was a friend of a classmate of Campbell's daughter who put the address out there on the internet. So a lot of this stuff apparently.
Why would they do this?
They claim that some were very distraught after the loss to the San Francisco 49ers, and some of the coach's decisions really upset them. It's football. These are teenagers.
Can we send the parents to jail? When a child is involved in a shooting, we have now taken to sending the parents to jail. Why can't we do it here? Why can't we do it here for the threatening and the intimidation and everything else? And let this teenage girl know exactly what she's done. Where somewhere I think she knows what she's done, although she might not be able to grasp a level of ramification being a child.
Apparently, this was a male. The classmate reportedly told officials that he and his friends were distraught over the loss and decided to give Campbell's
how
house.
Old is this?
They're not saying.
Under the age of 18.
They're not saying, but I'm guessing.
Throw his parents in jail.
Wow.
For a week, just so he knows what's up. Just so he is fully aware of what happens. Throw the parents in jail for a week. Now, if you say to me, am I kidding? I've had people release my home address. Right? I'm not Dan Campbell. But you don't think it has... you think I like this level of security at my house? You think I want any part of that? People do it to intimidate. People do it to threaten. And those people need to suffer outrageous consequences. When it's a child, children do things that children do. I don't believe in the consequence necessarily for them. But the parents can do a week in bad jail.
Attention Kmart shoppers. If you're of a certain age, that is something that you may have heard once or 100 times in your lifetime. But apparently, it's finally come to the point where you will never hear that again in a Kmart store. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Fingers Malloy. He's Tony Katz. Find everything we do on our website, eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Tony, the last Kmart store is going to shut down very, very soon. Oh.
What? No? I thought that was a good thing.
Why do you hate Kmart?
I don't hate Kmart.
You're applauding that Kmart is done. It's over.
That's great. Wait, hold on. What? I'm sad about this?
Well, I assume, of course, you're obviously upset for the people who are losing their jobs at Kmart. But there was one
store.
There
are people still working in Kmart?
One store in Bridgehampton, New York on Long Island. And it's slated to close October 20th, according to the Associated Press. The Hamptons. I can't believe that a Kmart wouldn't make it in the Hamptons, Tony.
I had assumed that all the Kmarts are closed. Secondly, that's a brand and a brand name that nobody wants to be associated with. Nobody wants to be. Who wants to be connected to Kmart? Hey, where'd you get those pants? Kmart.
Oh, well, listen. I had Zip tennis shoes. Zips. The commercial from Kmart. They had kids running around in Zips. And when you put the Zips on, you felt 15% faster because they were Zips.
That's not true.
Ask Jeeves about Zips tennis shoes. I am not lying to you, and I wouldn't be lying to Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation.
Is that right? You got your look.
Zips.
We grew up with a Kmart in Hazlitt, New Jersey. I think it was Hazlitt, which is right next door to Middletown, and I can picture it. And I was in there in the blue light specials, and they had the little cafe thing, and I think popcorn. I think we got popcorn from there. I can kind of remember that. I don't remember any clothes or anything like that. All I know is it's been a couple of decades, and I haven't missed it at all.
Some of my fondest childhood memories were my grandmother and I would
rest her soul.
Yes, would
Me,
walk,
Mama Loy.
Yeah, would walk to Kmart, and now looking back at it, it's amazing because this is a woman that was in her mid to late 60s at the time, walking a 6 or 7 year old boy. It had to have been a mile and a half one way to go to Kmart.
We used to be tougher, you know.
Yes.
We used to be tougher, stronger, more capable, less fear.
Yes. But you mentioned the little cafe that Kmart had.
Yeah.
So in the cafe, there was a wheel. And it reminded me, of course, the wheel was on a much smaller scale than the Price is Right, Tony. But you could spin the wheel for a sundae. And it had different prices for the sundae. And you could it would be a normal price for a sundae. But if you got it on the right spot, it would be a penny for a sundae. Yes. And that was a big deal to be able to spin that wheel to get that sundae.
Did you ever get it for a penny?
A dime. I did get it for a dime once. But it was one of the things I look forward to when grandmother would take me to Kmart.
Did you call her grandmother?
Yeah, grandmother, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No, she wasn't Meemaw. She was either grandma or grandmother. Yeah. Which is odd because it seems very formal for the idea that she's taking you to Kmart. Grandmother's taking me to Kmart.
Right. You were born on the right side of the tracks in Saginaw.
Yes, in Saginaw. But the other fond memory too was, did you ever go to the Sears candy counter?
I did not have a Sears candy counter when I was growing up. There was a Sears standalone store right there on Route 35 and Kings Highway. I'm going through all the Middletown hotspots. Yeah, it was Route 35 and Kings Highway. Someone from Middletown is going to be like, oh, yeah, there it was. And it was my elementary school was there, which I cannot remember the name of.
You can't remember the elementary school?
Middletown Village. Took me a second. Middletown Village Elementary. It took me a second. Yeah, that's a true story. I haven't thought of that in forever. That's been decades, too. I don't miss that place either. I don't miss it the slightest.
Listen, I'm sure you had a wonderful childhood.
Oh, you were wrong.
But I feel bad that you didn't experience the Sears candy counter.
How big was this counter?
It was 15 feet high, according to my idea of scale of measurements back when I was 5 years old. But you go, and they had a wide variety of candy. I, too, always got the popcorn because the popcorn was just magnificent.
Was it like fudge and... or was it just boxes like M&Ms?
Oh, no. It was like bulk candy where they would get the one scoop, and it didn't matter if it was a scoop of gummy bears or assorted nuts or you name the candy.
Same scoop?
Yes, if I remember correctly, it was the same scoop, and you're looking at it, and right next to it was the Craftsman Tools section, and it was like, oh, Craftsman Tools and candy together at last.
No, I didn't have that. Now I feel cheated. Now I feel cheated.
So it's the death of Kmart. And speaking of death, Tony.
Oh, good God. What in the...
CNET has a story. We tried out the AI Death Clock app, and it was surprisingly encouraging. So apparently there's an AI Death Clock app where you enter some answers to questions about your lifestyle, and they compare those answers to the results of 1,217 scientific studies to figure out when you're likely to kick the bucket. And they narrow it down, I believe, to the day. Tony, how would you feel? Is that something you're at all interested in? Because I know I'm not.
So there's a website called death-clock.org with over 59 million death projections and counting. I'm not doing this. Nope. Gonna just scrub that out of my history right now, if you'll excuse me. No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Because I'm pretty sure they cannot account for that bus. Right? Whatever it is that runs me off the road.
I'm worried that they actually can account for the 18 pumpkin spice Oreos I've consumed today. Bourbon, couple of gas station hot dogs.
Should we play?
It'd be oh boy.
It's time to play America's favorite game, everybody. What did Fingers eat today? Here's how we play our game. I'll ask Fingers what he ate today, well known for eating from gas stations and from vending machines. He'll tell us what he ate, and then we will ask the age-old question, Fingers Malloy, how are you still alive? Fingers, what did you eat today?
4 Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, a honey bun. Both of those products were purchased from a vending machine. 2 gas station chili dogs. And 5 pumpkin spice Oreos.
What? Fingers Malloy, forget how you're alive. How are you not in a bathroom?
Oh, you kidding me? I'm well trained. That's nothing. We're just getting started over here.
How are you still alive?
I did 3 push-ups this morning. I feel fantastic.
And you look
fantastic.
Sure, we'll say that. We will say that. You can get the pumpkin spice Oreos wherever it is you get your regularly flavored Oreos. We'll have that video up later in the week. The Michters right here, the small batch US1 bourbon, $44.99 a bottle. It's a yes for Fingers. It's a maybe for me. It's a maybe. Nice, neat. I'm disappointed with the cube.
That's fair.
I'm sad that I'm disappointed. Disappointed with the cube. And the Tatuaje Black Petite Lancero 6x38. It's a nice little smoke at $8.50.
Yeah.
It is. It isn't going to overwhelm. It isn't going to have a lot of play to the flavors. Nice, easy. That spice is there. Not overwhelming. I thought it was going to be bigger. I really and truly did. Find everything at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. This is Eat Drink Smoke.
Follow Eat Drink Smoke on social media, on Twitter at Go Eat Drink Smoke, on Facebook, facebook.com/Eat Drink Smoke, and Instagram at Eat Drink Smoke Podcast.